Hello, my babes. I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. If it's not an option, it's not on the table. Okay, let me run that back. If it's not an option, it's not on the table. Okay? If it's on the table, then you need to be ready to live with what that actually means. And I know this is tough. I know this is like, damn, Rio, damn. I say this with all due respect. If there is something that is on the table, then you need to be absolutely ready that if it gets chosen, that you are willing to live with the reality, what that actually means day to day, how your life is going to change. When you have conflicts in a relationship, by the way, we are upgrading the whole everything. It's a scripted video today, so we're gonna see how we do. We're gonna see how we do. I got my mouse, I got my laptop, got my tablet, got my pink lemonade. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. We're gonna see how this goes. It's my first scripted one. I wrote my thoughts out, so let's get into it. When you reach a impasse in a relationship, a conflict, an issue that needs resolution, you've always got four options. Always. And it's going to be the same four options every single time. You can work through it. You can reach a compromise. You can pause. Or you can leave. Those are always going to be your four options. If you choose one, choose it wholeheartedly. If you say, I'm done, we're better off going our separate ways. But you still want to WhatsApp, you still want to check in, you still want to invest emotionally. Who are you fooling? I call that absolute clownery. That is clownery at the highest rate. Let's be real. Let's just be so for real right now. Ending a relationship. Ooh. People are sending me messages. Thank you. I'm going to read it when I'm finished with this podcast. Damn. Damn. Okay, I'm going to read these messages when I'm finished with the podcast. They're just coming in. What's going on? Anyway, let's be real. Let's just be so for real. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. Ending a dynamic, ending a relationship, very often it's a power move. It's a control tactic. It could also be a reaction to disappointment. It could also be a way to avoid vulnerability, to remove a risk, right? The truth is that it's not just a statement when you say, things can't continue this way, or I'm done, or we better off going our separate ways. The truth that I'm trying to teach you today is that it's a structural decision. The way you live your life day to day needs to change. When things happen and it ends, it can't stay the same because then it didn't end. Then nothing ended. Then it's just renamed into something that is loosey-goosey and high in the sky. And you're not going to know where you stand. And my watch agrees with me. When things end, access needs to change. Access to you physically, access to your emotions, access to your you-ness. It needs to change. It can't stay the same because then nothing changed. Expectations need to change. You can't be expecting the same level from the person anymore. Just like they can't be expecting the same from you anymore. Emotional roles need to change. Previously, if you were bringing the vibes, you can't be doing that anymore. If you were however you were with a person, physically intimate with that person, that needs to change. It's not just one for old time's sake. No, it needs to change. If you end something, but you expect it to feel the same, then you didn't end it. My vibes, you didn't end it. You just introduced confusion. Let me run that back. If you end things and you expect it to feel the same, you introduced confusion. You didn't end anything. Before you take that decision, you have to ask yourself, if this ends and it stays the same, is this something that I want for myself? If you were in a committed relationship and you decide to go your separate ways, but instead of a committed relationship, now you change it to friends with benefits, you have to ask yourself, is that what I want for myself? Am I okay with not having my emotional needs met? If things continue without being defined or intentional, how do I feel about that? In the long term, I'm talking about in the long term. Am I okay with being this close to somebody? Emotionally, physically, mentally, investing my feelings, having my feelings deepen for this person over time, but without being able to rely on them to be there for me the way that I need them to be there for me. Is that something that I'm okay with? You have to ask yourself that. If you are considering ending things, a relationship, a marriage, a dynamic, whatever you find yourself in, before you make the decision, I want you to ask yourself, how many questions do I have here? I have 3 questions, 4 questions. The first question that you have to ask yourself is, you're coming to this decision, you don't want to pursue things further, right? You want this to end right here. You have to ask yourself, am I protecting myself? What am I protecting myself from? What has this person shown me that I need protection from them? That's the first question. The second question is, am I okay losing this person completely? The third question is, am I prepared for them to move on without me? And the fourth question is, am I doing this to provoke a reaction out of them? Because that's also what people do. Try to end things in the relationship. It's over. I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done. Because you're trying to provoke a reaction out of the other person. That's a very immature way to go about things. But that is the reality. That's what we see. So those are the questions that you need to ask yourself, the 4 questions. I'm not saying that if you do decide to take the decision to end things, that it's over, it's done, it's forever, it's closed, it can never be reopened. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that don't take the decision lightly, because I'm so sick and tired. Excuse me. My nose. I'm so sick and I'm so tired of people treating they just treat it so lightly. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna end things because I know they'll be back. I know they'll be back. So I'm just gonna end things and then we'll just pick up wherever we left off when they come back. Then why didn't you press pause? Why didn't you just take space? Why did you end the relationship and needed to be restarted? Because now it's damaged and it needs to be rebuilt from the ground up. Because instead of taking a mature approach of, I just need space, I need to dial it back, I need time to think, now you have to start from less than 0. Previously you started from 0, but now you have to start from less than 0. if you decide to revisit things. Oh, it's OB. If you decide to revisit things, it can never be under the old way of doing things. It can't be according to the old rules. If this person had complete access to your emotions before, they can't have it again. Or if you were the one that ended it, you cannot expect that person to be the same. Because I don't know, some people are, some people aren't. For me personally, I'm not the same. It needs. Ooh, my laptop is switching off here. You need new conversations, new standards. You need new clarity. That's if you decide to revisit whatever, whatever of the whateverness. The truth is that you are allowed to want things to go your way. That's the truth. You're allowed to want that. But when things don't go your way, you have two clean options. The first option is to stay and accept the new reality. Whatever that might look like. Let's say you were in a relationship and you decide you just want to be friends with benefits now after this. You don't want commitment anymore. You have the option to stay and accept that new reality for what it is, then you can never complain about it. Because, okay, my next space is in that middle space where you start complaining. Don't do that. If you accept it, you have to accept it wholeheartedly, completely, fully. Your other option, your clean option, is to leave and accept the separation completely. Accept it. Don't fight, don't negotiate, don't over-explain. I spoke about brevity in my last video. I'm going to unpack brevity with you. Do not use more words than you need to use. Leave. Say what you need to say and get out. Leave. It's done. Move on. Deal with it internally. Unpacking your feelings, telling this person, this is how it impacted me and this is how I feel, and all of these things and all the memories, and I really like you so much. It's not their job to process and manage your emotions. So you having verbal diarrhea and telling them, I really wanted to see what this could be. I really wanted to, and I wanted and this, and what about all of our good times, and what am I going to tell my family, and what are we going to tell our friends? And they don't need it. They don't need it. They're processing their own feelings. So you process your own feelings. Their role is not to process your feelings, to manage your feelings. That's your job. That's your job, to regulate your feelings, to process your feelings, to work through what you need to work through. Understand what you're feeling and know that they are not your therapist to be dumping it out on them. They are not your best friend to be helping you work through these things. It's not going to achieve anything to over-explain, over-negotiate, beg the person to stay. You're not going to achieve anything. Reduce your words. Keep it concise. Accept what they say. And then love accordingly. Just love accordingly. Let's talk about the middle space. When you decide to hear what they're saying and still choose a middle ground, right? You were in a committed relationship for whatever. You were constantly fighting. You didn't get along. So you decide, you know what? The relationship part of it isn't working, but the physical aspect is. So let's continue being friends with benefits, and we're not committed to each other. So we're not having expectations anymore, but we can still be physically close to each other, right? What that is going to lead to, what that's going to build up inside of you is resentment. That's what you have to understand. It's going to build resentment in you. You are going to have attachment that is deepening for this person. And the best part of it, you're not allowed to get attached emotionally to that person because there's no commitment. Because as soon as you find somebody else, you dropping them. As soon as they find somebody else, they dropping you. So you can't be getting upset. You're not allowed to attach yourself emotionally to that person. That is going to lead to fights. It's going to lead to a dynamic where you don't feel fulfilled. You're not being met. You're not getting what you need. Your body might be getting what it needs, but you yourself, the actual you that is living inside of your body, your mind, your will, your emotions, that isn't being fed. It's not being fed. And it's going to lead to small talks in the beginning of needing a little bit more, and it's going to lead to bids of validation and bids of approval from the person, and over time it's going to become escalated and you're going to fight, and it's going to be even worse than before because you were in the relationship before and you were constantly fighting. You couldn't work out whatever you needed to work out. So you said friends with benefits. And now it's worse than before because now you're not even in a relationship and you're fighting. Pick a lane. Pick a struggle. My babes, it can't carry on like that. Stop it. You need to be honest about what is really on your table. That's what you need to be honest about. You have to look at whatever situation, issue, conflict, whatever you're finding yourself in, and you need to ask yourself, what is really on my table? Am I willing to live as if this person is not in my life going forward? And if that is not an option for you, then it shouldn't be on the table. You need to remove what you aren't willing to choose. If you aren't willing to put a pause on things, remove it. If you aren't willing to compromise, then remove the compromise from the table. You have options. You've always got options. For me, my default is working through things. Taking space, I need to take space, I need to think. Let's understand what we're looking at right now and then let's work through it, but not, I don't like ending relationships. Like if I decide to start something, I don't like it just ending like that. I don't think anybody does, but okay, that's enough about me. If you decide to walk away, you have to respect your decision. And like I said, just because you're walking away at right now, it doesn't mean that you have to completely always stay walking away. You have to use discernment as well. If this person decides to enter your life again, there are questions that you need to ask yourself at that point in time. But you are not ending the relationship in the hopes that that person is going to come back to you, because then you shouldn't be ending it in the first place. Then you shouldn't be ending it. If your intention for ending it is, I know they're going to come back anyway because I'm that girl or I'm that guy, then you should be working through things. You should be talking it out, understanding what you are going through, understanding what they're going through at the same time. And if this person ever does come back to you, you need to be very careful. You need to be walking on eggshells because you've already scared them off once before. You need to be intentional. If they decide to re-engage with you, obviously they have thought about things and thought about the way that things ended, the fights that you used to have. They've thought about that and they've made a decision that maybe. But like I said, don't move forward with that in mind. That, I'm just going to reach out at a later point in time and we're just going to pick up where we left off, because you're not going to. You're not going to pick up where you left off. And that is what I see a lot happening around me all the time, is that there is this expectation to pick up where you left off, and I see it. It goes from there to ended back to there, and it's not gradual. It's not intentional. It's not gradual. It's just like a roller coaster, and it's too much. It's too much. And then I also wrote here a story that I want to share with you about one of my exes. I was thinking about this guy. I was walking my dog this morning and I was thinking about this guy. And that is why I was like, okay, let me just share this with you. So I had to structure my thoughts, which I did, and I wrote it down. And I hope that you like it. And I was thinking about this guy. Let me tell you about this ex of mine. We actually had the best relationship. Well, it ended, so can I really say it was the best? I don't know. It was always fun. It was always just so fulfilling. For me, I felt fulfilled. He would spoil me. Oh my gosh, the way that this guy would send me to the salon, he would let me get my lashes done. He would send me to get my nails done. He would take me to fancy restaurants. It was beautiful. Our relationship was so beautiful. From time to time, he would go overseas for work and he would always bring me back the best souvenirs. Oh my gosh, he would always bring me back. I remember one time he brought me this water feature. I think it was from Germany. Another time, he brought me perfume from France. Another time, he dove all the way down to the bottom of the ocean and he brought me this shell. This beautiful conch shell. Oh my gosh, the things that this guy did for me. He spoiled me rotten. This man spoiled me rotten. Completely spoiled me rotten. And one day when he came back from his business trip, there was a party. And I didn't like what I saw. I didn't like it. There was just too much of the too muchness of the alcohol going on. And I was just like, bruh, what am I seeing right now? Something my grandmother always used to tell me. She always told me, as man en vrou in die bottel kyk. No, wait, how did she say it? Dit gaan nie uitweekie as man en vrou in die bottel kykie. What? I don't think she said it like that. I think she said, dit gaan nie uitweekie as man en vrou in die bottel kyk. Something like that. I can't remember. She used to tell it to me when she was still alive. She was still with us. And what that means is that in a direct translation, it's not going to work if the man and the woman look in the bottle. But what it means parabolically or proverbially, metaphorically, is that if the man and the woman, they're both drinking alcohol, if they are enslaved to the alcohol, blame it on the alcohol, it's not going to work out. It ain't going to work out. And that, when I saw what I saw, I was like, this, it's not aligning with my values. It's not aligning with what I was taught growing up. And there was just too much. Like, it was just too much. I'm not saying don't drink alcohol. Drink your drink, baby. But don't let your drink you. Okay? At the end of the day, know your limits. Drink 1 or 2 drinks over supper occasionally, like once a year, once every 5 years. But don't let your drink you, because that's just embarrassing. Don't do it. And I brought this to him and I said, look, I just need space right now. I need time to think. I don't like what I saw at the party. That's all I said. That is all I said. And he told me he doesn't believe in space. He doesn't believe in going to bed angry. He doesn't believe in what I'm asking for. What I'm asking for goes against the way that he does his relationships. He believes in speaking things out, working things through when they come up so that we move on. We don't go to bed with an angry mind. And I told him, I need space. And in that moment, we reached what I needed versus what he needed. And he wasn't willing to compromise at that point in time. Look, we had options. We could work through it, but that wasn't on the table for me. The only thing that was on the table for me was pause. I needed to pause. That was the only option at that point. For him, I feel like he was negotiating the options and he settled on, if that's what you need, if you need space, then we can't do this. We can't have this relationship because you aren't listening to what I'm saying. And our relationship ended. And I accepted what he said. I said, okay, cool. I didn't have an answer, right? I needed time to think about, was that what I wanted for myself in the future? Was this person doing these things, these values that I'm seeing being played out right now, that's not aligning to my values? Is it something that I'm willing to compromise on? It's fine. Party now and then. Is it something I could live with? And I needed time to understand and to process and to see what that would look like for myself if I decided to continue. But he wouldn't allow me that space. And in a bid of trying to get control of the situation, because this is the way that I'm seeing it in retrospect. He tried to get control of the situation of, listen, I know what you're trying to say, and I'm actually the one that is calling the shots here. And it wasn't a malicious way. He didn't do it consciously, but the way that I see it, that is what it was in retrospect. It was a way to manipulate the situation to make him feel like he was in control again. Because when I spoke to him, he wasn't in control of the outcome. He wasn't in control of anything I was bringing to him. So that was his way of trying to regain control. And like I said, our relationship ended. I took a couple of weeks, didn't message him, didn't talk to him. I didn't delete his number. I just moved on. And then I think it was 3 or 4 weeks after we broke up, I took the gifts back to his home. Oh my word. Oh, oh my word. The messages that I got after that man blew up my phone. It's like, Rio, I told you. No, he didn't say that I told you. He said, I told my parents this was just a break and we're gonna get back together and I'm gonna marry you. That's what this guy said. He blew up my phone. He sent me voice notes. And at that point, I was like, bruh, if only you just gave me the space that I needed. Now you're telling your family that we're taking space. We're just taking a break. And I've already seen it for what it is. I've already seen the fact that immaturity was there. That immaturity, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that. That now we ending something that was so amazing because you reacted to what I was bringing to you and you didn't hear me. And I'm thinking to myself, going into the future, what is that going to look like if I give this guy another chance? What is it going to look like? I say all of this to tell you that he didn't consider what a life would look like without me in it before he made that decision. He put it on the table, but it wasn't truly an option for him. Okay, when you are in a situation, you only put things on the table that are actually options. And the reason why I thought about him was because he actually messaged me not too long ago, asking me how I am I seeing somebody new? Hey, eh, eh, eh. If it's not on the table, my pipes, it's not an option if it's not on the table. Okay? Always use your copinosity, not your holotology, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye.